Hi, everybody. I'm going to be talking to you today about how to write your introductory paragraph. This is the first paragraph in your informational essay. So this is a paragraph where you really need to draw in your readers. You need to capture their attention and make them feel like you are believable. Your information is valid and relatable to them. So it's all on how you go about presenting it. And your first paragraph is where you want to do that. I do it, everybody does it. You have a lot of things you need to look at to consider reading, and you look at headlines a lot of times. A lot of times, those headlines really determine where we're going to stop and go, I think I'll stop on this one and take a little bit longer look at it. So sometimes those headlines are outrageous, something horrible happened, or sometimes it's like urgent, like this thing is really important, it just happened. So it's how you set that up and what the occasion is that you'll use to continue to have your reader continue to read on. So we'll show you a presentation with some different pointers on how to do that. So I'm going to put this over on present, and I'll join you as soon as it comes on up. Okay, so here we're talking about the introductions, that first paragraph in your essay. So it's where you get their attention. It makes your audience be willing to listen and learn. And it's all about how you talk to them and present it. So you introduce your topic and your purpose, and you're going to preview your main points. So let them know the main things that you'll be reading and talking about, but they'll be reading about. This also gives them an idea whether they can even get into the subject. So this is where you like give them the main points that you cover and also set the tone. So you're going to be, is this a negative commentary on the subject? Is it a review of the catastrophe, something that's happened, or is it hopeful and it's enlightening us on research that's been done on a health problem or hope or something like that? So that's that tone that really lets the reader know, like, where are we going with this? And you use your selected words, help set that up for your audience. So whenever you write your introductory paper, you need to think about the audience, who it is, how appropriate what you say will be for them, or what their interests are. So this is an academic assignment. So you're going to need to assume that the people reading it, you need to speak in a professional tone. And we don't, use slang or inappropriate words. We're going to make this professional. So as we begin the introductory paragraph, we look for ways to do that, to capture their attention. So we're looking for quotes, tell a story, pose a question, unusual fact that might, something that really catches their attention, humor, something that can maybe make fun of something if it's appropriate. We don't recommend using that one, and references. So let them know that you really appreciate their reading it or being part of this conversation. But for today, we're going to focus on quotation and tell a story. So the first quotation, those are things you want to find that relate to your topic. So express the idea that you are sharing. So remember, I said your article might be a critique of certain policies, or it might be a critique of certain philosophies, or it might be positive. So, like a hopeful sign that things are changing. So your quote will reflect the direction that your paper will go. So these tend to be from the authorities on the topic, or that it's someone that's known and it adds interest. So they're interested in maybe the person is an authentic and believable person. And they can relate to it. Perhaps it is appropriate for their age group, or their field of interest. So we'll see some examples of that. And so whatever that is, makes your reader really want to keep on reading to find out what's going on. So we have 3 examples of quotes of different ideas that we could use if you're doing a paper on climate change. The first example we have is from Mark Ruffalo, the actor who plays Hulk, as an example. So we know he's an actor. We know, he's a thoughtful guy, and he, I think in real life he really does like think about things and has thoughts and commentary on them. So this is what he said one time. He said, climate change is the greatest threat to our existence in the short history of the planet. Nobody's going to buy their way out of its effects. So that's probably pretty true. We have to appreciate what he's saying. It's like, no matter how rich you are going to have experienced climate change along with the rest of us. You can't buy your way out of this experience. So maybe he's talking to a bunch of wealthy people, trying to get them to donate or trying to get them involved in actions towards making change. People that maybe have the money that think they don't really have to bother with these sorts of things. But in the long run, he is an actor. He's not particularly expert on it. He doesn't probably know the scientific information, or it's not really read up on it. But he is relatable, and a lot of people might listen to him just because, they appreciate his roles. But let's think about some different angles that'll approach people with more believability. So the next example is Desmond Tutu. He's a religious leader and human rights activist from South Africa. So he had some really important historic impact on freedom and human rights. This is what he said about climate change. People with conscience need to break their ties with corporations financing the injustice of climate change. Well, so he's mentioned people with conscience. He's a religious person, so he probably knows a bit about that. He also mentioned that they need to break their ties with corporations. Well, again, as far as looking towards human rights, he's looking to make change. And it looks like he might be thinking corporations are financing climate change. Then he refers to injustice of climate change. So again, human rights related. Climate change tends to impact the most needy people, the ones who are with so little. Those would be where the human rights would be showing, and he's an expert in that. But for our purposes today, we're going to talk about a paper you might be writing on your subject that somebody has authenticity, real expert on it, studied background, and also considering your audience. You yourself are a teenager, and there's a relatable person here that quoted is Greta Thunberg. So she came out really strong about 5 years ago. She spoke with the United Nations about climate change, and she is speaking as a child, looking forward to her whole life that will be impacted by climate change, and she was powerless to do anything about it. So she was talking to the people that could impact it. So her quote is, "You say you love your children above all else, and yet you are stealing their future in front of their very eyes." So she has authenticity. She is the child that will be living this. And she's speaking to the people that are saying this, that we want to do everything for you. And she says, you are taking it away from us. So that's very direct and very authentic. And we know she's a respected person in this area. So the other thing to think about is illustrate with your words. So illustrate often means draw a picture. And we are talking about drawing a picture with your words. So, we've saying show it, don't tell it. So show it with your descriptive words. So here is an actual picture where it's an ad that was meant to draw people's attention towards their subject. So they're trying to show you that the dangers of smoking, and this person has had impact on his throat. He's having to have a stoma, which is where they pass their food, and the way they speak even through that. And so his life's been altered. And so they're showing you what real life is like once you've had that done. But those are pictures. But you can use your words to create that same imagery. So what you need to do is visualize the topic by using an illustration that engages emotionally. So pick something that you can describe using imagery, the words using all your senses, the stories of real life people that help the reader connect with your topic. Describe them show that their experiences are, that they're like, because of this, how much better their lives are, inspirational, or, horrible, like this picture here, the impact of, unhealthy choices. This is what your life will be like. And you use those pictures, those words describing it. So your words can create the mental image in the reader's mind. So that is how you really draw somebody in emotionally. So it doesn't have to be very long. You don't need an entire paragraph, but you do need to like set up the story and make it enough detail where you can picture it. Okay, so again, we said preview your main points. So you give an audience a glance of what the speech will be about. It allows them to mentally organize your ideas. And so this is why you present them 1, 2, 3. These are my points I'll be making. You often will keep those points that you make in the same order that you'll make them in your paper. And also, as you read through the paper, they know what's coming. They've seen it already in your introductory paragraph. And it helps you know, like the map you're on. You set the maps up, the course up in that introductory paragraph. And as you continue, you follow along in that same process, in the same order that you presented it. And then you put the thesis statement. So at the end of your introductory paragraph, you will say, this is the comment I have about this subject. Like, this is a big change. This is the time when the earth shifted significantly for these reasons. So we'll talk to you more tomorrow about what a thesis statement should look like. So there's where you set it up, and at the very end, and then you start presenting your information afterwards. So that's your introductory paragraph with those main items and the main purpose. So anyway, think about your subject, think about your audience, think about the appropriateness of the person you are quoting or making a reference to, or the story. Make it connect. Anyway, so, and make your point where you can back it up with the research that you find. All right, so I hope that you are ready. Introductory paragraph, you need any help, just let us know. See you later.